Today, I introduce you to my special report, Winds of Change, a look at Louisiana's emerging wind energy industry. In 2020, Governor John Bel Edwards initiated the Climate Action Plan for Louisiana, establishing a target for net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. The plan points to wind energy as one way to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Meanwhile, President Biden's administration is pushing to ramp up offshore wind development to meet its goal of 30 gigawatts of offshore wind energy capacity by 2030. In my first report, we'll look at why the Gulf of Mexico is one of the top frontiers for wind energy in the nation and how Louisiana is poised to take the lead. The state has a significant stake in the federal waterways, plus state-owned coastal waters available for wind farm leases. The Biden administration opened the first ever leases for offshore wind in the Gulf of Mexico off the coast of southwest Louisiana and southeast Texas. In August, Louisiana leased its first offshore wind farm in the Gulf of Mexico, signaling a demand for skilled workers. Nunez Community College in Chalmette is answering the call with a new wind turbine curriculum available soon to students. Here's more. Louisiana companies helped build the first commercial offshore wind farm, Block Island near Rhode Island, and now Louisiana wants to bring that work home, staking its claim on the potential windfall of this renewable energy industry by capitalizing on the winds and waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Estimates are that wind leases in the Gulf of Mexico have the potential to power 1.3 million homes. That's more than half the number of households in Louisiana. With the first wind farm lease in the Gulf of Mexico near Lake Charles and more planned, the demand for skilled workers is growing. Nunez Community College in Chalmette is taking the lead in wind turbine training with a new curriculum. It's one of the first in the state.
We partnered with Energy Innovation out of Norway, who have helped us develop our curriculum. We actually just sent 2 of our professors to Norway this month to begin their basic safety training.
Nunez Community College is establishing the Sustainable Energy Career Academy to train an offshore renewable energy workforce.
This curriculum is certified by the Global Wind Organization, which is an international certifying body. So the great part about this is this program teaches students the basics of offshore safety. It teaches them how to fix and repair the nacelle towers and the blades, so that way they can go offshore and work both in our waters and in international waters.
Louisiana has a built-in workforce ready to reskill and skill up for renewable energy jobs, given its vast experience in offshore oil and gas.
Block Island, where the first 5 turbines in the U.S. went up, was largely built by Louisiana companies. We have the expertise to install stuff on the seafloor, and people need it, and we're able to share that with the U.S., which is nice.
Jenny Netherton is with the Southeastern Wind Coalition, a nonprofit that works to advance wind energy development.
So we're really seeing the birth of a new industry in the U.S. I would say we're probably 5 to 7 years behind Europe, who has a more significant supply chain. We currently have 7 operational turbines in U.S. waters. There are the 5 at Block Island and 2 in Virginia.
LSWI, an international renewable energy company, holds the first wind lease in the Gulf of Mexico in federal waters south of Lake Charles. One of the issues that we looked at is, I guess, the fair and equitable distribution of fees to the state. Dr. Stephen Barnes is the director of the Kathleen Babineau Blanco Public Policy Center at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
This is a real long-term opportunity where we've got to make sure we've got the right policy environment in place. And so at the federal level, I think we've got to make sure that we put in place mechanisms that help to share some of the benefits in terms of public revenues with the states that are working to support these things. And I think we need public engagement and public interest to help push that forward.
Louisiana is also one of the first states to develop wind energy close to shores in state-owned waters, the first 3 nautical miles of open water under its control.
I'd also point out that the Louisiana Department of Natural Resources has received funding for a master plan to help guide the development of this process, both in state waters and federal waters. Much the way our coastal master plan works, which has been, such a helpful document for, I think, everyone in Louisiana, we'll have those same guideposts to look at for offshore wind, which is really exciting.
In August of 2020, Governor John Bel Edwards signed an executive order setting a target for net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Renewable energy plays a significant role in reaching that goal.
For the second term of the Governor John Bel Edwards administration, we've really been all in on this energy transition.
Brad Lambert is Deputy Secretary with Louisiana Economic Development. He served on the governor's Climate Initiatives Task Force.
And that climate action plan, in my view, has been a differentiator for the state of Louisiana. We are the only state in the Gulf South with such a plan, and it had 28 high-level strategies, an additional 84 specific action items. One of those 84 action items was a target for 5 gigawatts of offshore wind by 2035. So again, we're talking about the next 12 or so years, trying to get to the point where either in federal waters, the Outer Continental Shelf, or in state waters, from coastline to 3 miles out, that we can begin to generate some renewable energy.
A skilled wind energy workforce is essential to reaching Louisiana's 5 gigawatt offshore wind goal. Nunez Community College is one of the first community colleges in the nation to offer several global wind organization certifications and degree pathways.
So with their first certification, with like 3 or 4 classes, they can work offshore. And then after their first year, they're going to earn what's called a technical diploma, which gives them all the certification to work offshore. So with that 1-year degree, these students will can go work on these offshore turbines, making about $56,000 a year, which is great because that's higher than the Louisiana median salary. So that's a really fantastic step. And then for those students that want to go on to 4-year, they can finish out an associate's degree in wind turbine technology. And we're developing relationships with University of New Orleans, so our students can go from this program straight into a wind engineering program over there if they want.
Nunez Community College is also part of the GLOW Propeller Consortium. That includes 5 universities and major industry players such as LSWI, the first Gulf of Mexico wind leaseholder, and Gulf Wind Technologies in Avondale. Together, they are working to help Louisiana's wind energy industry take flight.
So I think we have a unique opportunity right now in Louisiana to really step out and be the first place to establish ourselves as the onshore base to support that development, establish the manufacturing here and the workforce and expertise to build out and support these things.
Lawmakers, they also have some roles to play as far as incentivizing development, incentivizing Louisiana businesses to pursue this. And I think that's kind of where the legislature might be able to look next session.